one of those topics that nobody really wants to talk about, but if you don't say anything about the subject, it's only going to make things worse.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
Surviving depression. I've battled through depression on 4 separate occasions in my life. So I speak to you from a standpoint of actually having gone through it and coming out the other side. Depression's one of those things that's a constant battle throughout your entire life, because there's so many things in your life that are put there on purpose to make you depressed. And what you've got to understand is you need to have things in place to stop you falling into that depressive hole. We can have bad days, we can have good days, that's sort of by the by. What you need to ensure is on those bad days, they don't spiral out of control. It's what I see a lot of. I've seen it a lot in clients, I've seen it a lot with friends and family, and they'll have one bad day and that can turn into a bad week. One bad week can turn into 2 bad weeks. 2 bad weeks out of a month can turn quite easily into a bad month. You see how it can spiral and spiral. If you don't have the correct tools in place to be able to figure out why you feel so crap on that day. Every day is a battle. Every day has different challenges. And what you've got to understand is that is fine for you to have to deal with. Not everybody is as resilient as other people, but everybody has the opportunity to be better and to actually unlock the ability to figure out what they need and what they want and how best to deal with it. You can go on Google and type in how to beat depression and it will come up with a million different things. Now, I don't necessarily agree with all these things, purely for the fact that a lot of them are just basic. Yeah, I don't think that it's a cure for depression. I think it's a cure for life. So some of the top NHS recommendations for depression is going outside, exercise, healthy eating. Now, these things should be done anyway. So if you're one of those people that do eat right, do exercise semi-regularly, but still find yourself in a hole, in a problem, then this video is for you. Because the tools and the techniques that I'm going to talk about is what saved my life multiple times. And it is, in my eyes, it's quite simple, because like life is quite simple, really, when you put it together. The biggest thing that's helped me through my battles of depression simply is plotting a timeline and finding out why I'm depressed. I want to know why, always. It's been my whole life motto. Since I was young, my parents would tell me to do something. Why? I always want to know why. And if there's not a reason, then I don't want to do it. So my depression, I realized that I was heavily depressed because of the things that I'd gone through as a young child, right? And it took me a good 2 years to be able to plot a timeline and understand why I am the way that I am, doing the things that I do. Okay? Now I've got a book about like that thick, detailing my life in great detail, so that I can plot a timeline and understand why I feel the way that I do sometimes. And it will go through the year. You know, I always have June, July, August is always bad months for me, because a lot of stuff's happened in those months regularly year to year. June, July, August I know is almost just a write-off. 3 months of the year, I'm going to feel like crap. It's just what's going to happen. But I've got the correct tools in place to be able to manage that. So Meditation. Now, meditation comes with a lot of stigma because people don't want to listen. Oh, I don't want to sit there and go, And to some people, meditation is that. That's not what meditation is to me. Meditation is simply sitting there for 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes just before you go to bed. So right as you wake up, right before you go to bed, not randomly in the middle of the day, and you process your thoughts. That's it. You sit there for 10 minutes, eyes open or eyes closed. I prefer my eyes closed. I sit there and I process my thoughts. I organise them like a filing cabinet. And I understand, okay, I'm feeling crap today. I'm tired today. I understand all this. I let all of those negative thoughts flow through me. And so that I can physically understand, okay, yeah, I'm feeling like crap, understandably. I don't feel very good. I don't look very good. Whatever those negative thoughts are coming through my body, I let them come through. I let them out. I say them. Okay? Trapped energy is going to build up and manifest. If you allow this energy to flow through you, then you will allow all of the negative to literally be released from you. Some people prefer to write this down. I love writing things down. I also love saying them. It's a two-pronged approach for me. I need to be able to say these things in order to unlock what I'm going to do in one day. Meditation's a fantastic tool, and therefore leads me on to my next point. Writing, another fantastic tool. Plotting a timeline, two very different things. I've got a big piece of paper where I've literally, like you do in school, you know, when you add things up along a line. Yeah, that's what I've done for my life. So birth through to now. Okay, I had a bad year then, I started my drug abuse then, I started doing this, I started doing that. I had all these problems and these lines on these months, on these days, and I plotted it as detailed as I could to understand that I'm going to have bad months on this month. I'm going to have good months on this month, you know, all these different things. And then I can understand month to month and year to year when I'm going to feel good and when I'm going to feel bad. And I can almost predict it because I've been doing it for so long now. I can almost predict when I'm going to feel bad and when I'm going to feel good. So that's another thing that's going to extremely help you. Obviously, like I say, exercise, healthy eating, drinking clean water, fundamentals, regardless, they should be done anyway, okay? I'm not going to sit here and bullshit to you about just typical guru stuff because that's not what's going to work. Talking to somebody is something else that's going to completely change your life, whether it's a friend, a family member, a counsellor, a therapist, a coach, whatever it is. Like I say, the built up energy inside of you needs to be released in some way, and you have to release it yourself. If you don't release it, it will build up like a volcano and it will just go bang. Okay? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Another very big thing that people don't like hearing is your friendship group. Okay, now most friendship groups always complain about something. If your friendship group is more negative than it is positive, and I mean really think about this, next time you're with your friends and you interject something and you start talking about things, are they talking about things in a negative light or in a positive light? I can't do this, I don't want to do this, I hate my job. Whatever it is, negative things rather than I didn't want to do it but I get to do it. I didn't want to wake up this morning but I got to wake up this morning, I got to go to my job. I love my job, right? Positive attitudes. Those attitudes will have a massive effect on your mental health, because if you're surrounding yourself with negativity all the time, you're inherently going to be negative. If your family are negative all the time, you're inherently going to be negative. The only way you can change your thought process and your energy levels is to be more positive. Okay? That's a little bit of common sense, but not many people look at it. All right, really think about when you go and chill out with your friends, is it in a positive or is it in a negative light? Because if it's in a negative light, it's only going to make you negative. Okay, if they're constantly bringing you down and making you upset because of the things that they're doing, it's only going to constantly bring you down and make you more negative about the things that you're doing. Okay, you have to understand what is good and what is bad in life, and these things, you'll only learn these things through failure. Unfortunately, you will go through processes, you'll trust people who will screw you up, and you will trust people who will rob you, and they'll do all these kinds of things. I've been robbed, I've been mugged, I've been taken the piss out of my entire life because I've trusted the wrong people. Okay, and so, you know, and then that sucked the energy out of me, right? And so now I don't give my energy to anybody that I know isn't going to give it back to me. Okay, that's another big thing. Giving your energy to people. Stop wasting the finite amount of positive energy you have trying to help somebody else. Okay, I understand as people we want to help other people, but you have to put yourself first. If you do not put yourself first, how can you ever possibly help anybody? Same principles when you go on an aeroplane, okay? They tell you in the safety brief that if the oxygen masks drop, you must put yours on first and then help your child. Because if you do not help yourself first and you go unconscious, how can you possibly help your child? It's the same principle with mental health, right? You have to help yourself first before you can help other people. Okay, it's the same with energy, right? You've only got a certain amount of energy in any given day. You must prioritize your own energy to make sure you're happy and you're fulfilling your life before you can then help other people fulfill their own lives. Otherwise, you're never going to help anybody, and you're constantly going to be stuck in this circle of depressive state you're currently in. Okay, the only way to break the cycle, break the circle, break the chain is to single yourself out and put yourself first, right? I did this by moving away to the other side of the planet. I went to Australia for a year. That's what's put me in the position that I am now. I left everything behind. Festivals, drinking, friends, drugs, music, everything. And I put myself in an uncomfortable situation to focus on my own energy. I had ups, I had downs, I had depressive states, I had a lot of problems. That's the cycle you need to go through, all right? I know people have said it to you in the past, things are going to get worse before they get better. And that is so true. If you're in a bad mental health situation, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. But it's like a hill, okay? You're at the bottom of the hill at the moment. You've got to try and get up over the hill, and you think you've come to the summit, but you haven't. It's a false summit. You go back downhill, and then boom, you're up at the top, okay? Like climbing the ladder, okay? It's just like climbing Everest. It's the best way to describe it. You'll get to a certain point, you've got to acclimatise. You've got to stay still and stagnant. You've got to acclimatise to the new position you're in, and then you can continue climbing, okay? Do not expect these things to happen overnight. It took me 2.5 years to work through what I worked through, a decade worth of trauma and depression and anxiety to be in the position that I am now, okay? But I had the correct tools, the correct techniques, and the correct people around me to ensure that I did achieve the results that I've currently achieved, and I'm in the position that I'm currently in, simply because I listened to healthcare professionals. I did a lot of self-motivation, I did a lot of self-talk, I did a lot of inner critic work. I looked at myself and I put myself first, right? Put myself first in every situation. I'm not saying you have to go to the other side of the world in order to sort yourself out, but you have to take a step back from what you're doing, look at what you're doing, plot a timeline, write things down, get organized, and sort your life out. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to sort your own life out. It's as simple as that. If you need any advice, any tips, I am in talks with charities, mental health professionals. Please feel free to reach out, and I will try and give you as much free help as I physically can to ensure that you're on the best track to be able to thrive throughout your entire life. I just want to be able to help people. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and I shall see you in the next one.